Isn't that right, little pussycat? Put some biscuits out here. It's one of those tubs that tomatoes come in. I got those less than half price, as you can imagine. And we done some sheep work the other day, which involved sheep no longer having tails, and one of the lambs was sort of a hoppity hop, a bit peg leg style. This thing is only, it's only 3 months old or 4 months old, and then you're going to see something else. Come on, buddy, take him outside. And yeah, I believe it was a hoof infection or something like that. Sheep are like pigs when it comes to hooves and things like that. You might be able to save it with hooves on sheep if it's foot rot, which is a known disease, and it stinks like shit. And it's like a purpley thing under the hoof. And you sort of clip it open and expose it to air, and that's often what happens. Is the hooves get too long, and they may have hoof problems related to either foot rot getting inside, or just the hoof grown too long. And it always happens in sandy areas, not so much areas like we've got here, because there's enough rocks that they keep rubbing it down. And if sheep are hanging around near concrete on a regular basis, they, will wear them down. But if their hooves being too long and overgrown is a problem, you can clip it all back, as foot rot can be treated. But if it's a hoof infection, or I've even seen ones where the leg's alive, but the hoof itself you could tell has actually died, and they'll hop the rest of their life. And as a result of that, they never seem to have they don't really have a chance. They're easy prey to foxes, and they're hopping one day and next day they're laying down, and they will lay there, not get back up, and just starve to death laying down. They'll just die there. So instead of just let inevitability occur, we got some stuff. I wanted to eat it. I got a pressure cooker. The lid's over there. How you doing, buddy? The pot. The pot's somewhere anyway. That's the lid. And I wanted to go and cook it up in the pressure cooker, but my father reckons, oh no, you don't know what disease it's got. Well, it's either a hoof that's opened up, or it's, infected hoof, and it's not really, that bad yet. The same troubles you have with sheep you can have with pigs. The hooves, you get problems with the hooves, and it's all downhill from there basically. And yeah, but anyway, that's one of the legs. And he told me, don't go eating it yourself, because we're not sure what's causing it, although I was pretty sure I knew what was causing it. And then I chuck it there for the cat. If Tabby Cat had been here, he would have flipping been pretty much gone by now. But annoyingly enough, she hasn't touched it yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that laying on the lino here and take the biscuits away. And take away the other biscuits there, and she's going to be pretty much forced to eat it. But when I plonked that down there was when she got the other, well, she'd only had the other rabbit for since the day before or whatever, and hadn't finished eating that, and then I plonked that down and she was still eating the other rabbit, and now she's got another one. Here I am coming out of the bedroom this morning, walk out of here, open the door, come out here, and the cat's there, and I've said as I'm walking out the door, when are you going to eat that sheep leg? And at the exact same time she walks in the flaming door, holding the rabbit in her mouth. So that's number 3. You can tell it's all over the same litter because they're the same size. Of course, she came inside and it was completely alive, so I took it off her again and dealt with it. Originally, if she'd come in with something like a rabbit or whatever and it was alive, and I go to take it off her, she'd start growling at me and she wouldn't let me have it. But now, if she comes in with a rabbit and it's alive, I can, put my hand around it and she'll let me have it. So then I can finish it off. The reality is she could finish it off, but, I've already explained the process behind that. I think the poor sods are just better put out of their misery, as opposed to maybe get lost altogether or just get the shit terrorised out of them. I've seen it with mice and that, and I've even showed it on camera. I didn't think you could see it very clearly, but the mouse will still be alive and she'll literally be throwing it up in the air. Literally throwing it in the air, 2 foot up in the air, just as part of the whole playing procedure, which you probably can't see now, but the whole playing procedure is going on. I can't see anything. Gosh, it's a pity because you get bloody savage. Oh, you can see the little white tabs moving down there. Here we go. Little white bits you can see are all the feet. Nowadays it involves going to where I dump my laundry in the corner here, next to this, in between this and the wall, and getting a dead rabbit tangled up in my laundry, and in the end you don't know if she's trying to attack the rabbit or just tear your pants to pieces. Anyway, we going to have an interesting day today. We've got the National Distribution Manager flying down from Sydney, and he's going to tell us what's expected to happen, fill us in on a lot of stuff. Now, I don't know if we're going to be there to January the 9th. I am hoping they're going to say, well, people are still going to be painting quite a lot in the dry weather of January and February and even March, and that we're going to close it all up at the end of autumn, which means that I'm going to be almost working through to the middle of next year, which would be good. They may say they're going to close it earlier. I don't know. But it's not sort of the real time to do a warehouse changeover in the middle of the majority of your sales. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of stupid. The deal may have changed. It could be earlier. I hope not. It could be later, which I was hoping. So I'll get another 2 or 3 months' work. Yeah, we'll find out today, though. So anyway, brought all this in yesterday. Some days it's always good to have an extra stash of stuff in there. You don't want to find yourself in the last 2 buckets of lemon, especially not the last bucket, even the last 2 buckets of box thorn, because then you might be a little bit short. It got flaming cold last night. I was driving back. It was 7 degrees Celsius here. I was driving back and actually said 6 about, I don't know, 4 miles from here or something, and went down to 6 degrees Celsius, 5 miles away. So yeah, we've still got weather that, let's face it, that's the temperature it is when it's blooming night at winter, during the winter. So we're getting nice warm days, but we're still getting winter temperatures at night. I couldn't believe what they're saying the other day in the capital, 3 degrees Celsius. I mean, hell, seriously, that is, 38 Fahrenheit or something like that, and it's like, how is this even happening when you can get a warm day the next day? But, that's friggin' 80 degrees Fahrenheit. But anyway, it's the way the weather goes here. We can get these sort of, you've got to expect wild swings in temperature, which is why I'm wearing a polyester shirt now, and it's nice and warm outside, and I'm sort of not rugged up just yet. You know, still walking around in flip-flops. And yet last night I had, well, basically 4 logs jammed in the wood heater, and I didn't open the flipping door into the other room because we needed all the damn heat we could get. And, you know, this is the way it is. And, yeah, just the way the climate is here. 4 days in one season. 4 seasons in one day, as the saying goes. Alrighty. And got some of these. They're at least 30 cents cheaper than the cheapest brand. In fact, I used to work for that company at one point. Got, oh hell, is that 9 packets or something? 8 packets, something ridiculous. I had a little incident involving rabbit guts, so that one's out there. Copping a bit of rainwater coming off the roof to try and clean it out, and I'll be going through a disinfectant wash. This has finally come back into flower. I don't even know what this is. Parents call it a potato plant, but I also know it as a cat scratching post because that's what it ends up being half the time. Isn't that right, hey? You love scratching that plant up, biting it and hanging off it. And they do say it's poisonous to sheep, but hell, the thing's only barely struggling to survive half the time. All the tomatoes, you knew that already. I'm surprised they've all blooming come as good as they have. The way some of them were planted side by side and they had to tear the roots up so bad. There's some looking really nice. None of them are wilted though. I was sure there'd be one of them that'd die. But we're all going pretty good. We keep getting rain. Not always. Oh, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad, except I got the numbers turned the wrong way. Let's have a look here. I chucked out about, I don't know what it was, about 3/8 of an inch the other day out of this. What do we got now? Oh, let's, well, the 10 there's 3/8 of an inch, I'll put it like that. Yeah, what would it be? 8 mil, hell, I don't even know what that is. It's more than a 1/4 inch, I'll put it like that, but it's not quite 3/8 of an inch. And I had better empty that while we're thinking of these things. Anyway, play with that later. As you can see, the grass is getting pretty flaming good. Look at the thistles. When you get a lone thistle on its own, it will go berserk. I've had them with leaves 14 inches wide. I shit you not. Variegated thistle. I think there might be a sow thistle. We used to get a lot of Scotch thistles. I do have some, but not as many. And then there's saffron thistles, which got into my parents' place in a big way a few years ago. Anyway, in case you haven't noticed here, I've got rid of all the broccoli. I've cut it all off. And a lot of this spinach, some of it is still firing alright, and others are just all gone yellow-leafed and shit, and I really should pick them. And that's sort of all looking very pale as well at the moment. Just that long pot over there. My cat. What's the matter, Puss? It's a bit tall for you, is it? She does this thing where she'll literally jump, so she just sort of almost hopping like a flaming kangaroo through it all. But not like a kangaroo, but you know what I mean. She jumps through. And this probably badly needs another snipping, which I might do after I get all the spinach out. One thing I'm noticing, and I'll keep note of all this, a lot of these pots, you lift them up and there's roots that go out through the drainage into the ground, and it's as simple as this. The only reason they got to like what they were was because they actually do tap into real soil, and there's just not enough in them. You know, these pots, you know, things will grow, but they're not what they could be, because they got to shoot roots out through the bottom, and Like that woman at the church said to me, they'll never be what they could be in a pot versus in straight soil. But the soil here is too dense, but that's why I've got that fenced off area down below. And yeah, at some point we'll make it happen, but I may need to rewire it with chicken wire to keep the rabbits out. And I'm most likely to have a good go with more spinach next year. We'll see what happens. This is going alright. It's going quite alright. This is, well, you're pretty dumb if you don't know what this is. Kale. It's actually looking quite good. Had a couple of crappy leaves that I cut off, or ones that were getting bigger and look like they're going downhill, so that's had about 4 leaves cut off the outside. But it's really, just in the previous couple of weeks, it's really fired up well. Weather's been strange, quite strange. Long story short, yeah, it just keeps raining in the spring when it usually doesn't. And the other thing is, it's flaming cold nights. Look at the height of this while we... There's my belt. It's up here. There's my top pocket. But anyway, we're getting these days that some are warm, but there's just not many. Look at that, up to the bottom of my top pocket. A stinging nettle. And yeah, a lot of them, you're all overcast. So we've only had a handful of warm days and a lot of overcast days, and these nights are ridiculous. It was 5 degrees Celsius last night. That's flaming winter temperatures. I mean, that's full-blown winter temperatures here. Which that works out, I think it's about 40 Fahrenheit, 39 Fahrenheit, something like that. So yeah, maybe 41. But we still haven't got out of these winter temperatures and properly got in. We get the odd warm day, the nights are still winter nights, and we are literally halfway through spring with very few warm days, and it's still raining quite consistently, which is good. You know, the crops here are just, whoa. I misquoted the expected amount of crop. They expect, I think this wheat crop alone, to get 46.1 million tonne in this country. And this country, I believe, is, well, I know for a fact 80% of this country is desert. And the country is around about 80% the size of the United States, but 80% of that is just wasteland for all intensive purposes of the desert. You know, where I grew up as a kid, apparently they are pretty much getting rid of sheep in general and just going almost, and there's quite a few people in the same town I grew up that have just given up on sheep altogether, and they're going 100% grain. And some that hang on to sheep, and other people just say, what's the bloody point? And they've just got rid of them altogether, while some people have got a lousy 10% of their place with sheep in it, you know. And yeah, that's the way it seems to be going over there. Our sheep numbers are dropping, but our cropping numbers are going to record levels. And I don't know if that's exactly what the market demands, but that's what they're doing. And I assume that it's, yeah, well, the way they put it is just a hell of a lot easier that way for them. So, and this is not, you know, 1 or 2 people. This is, you can drive through there and you're just like, we used to have so many sheep in this region. What happened? No. Of course, needless to say, somebody I know was over there only a month or 2 back. And yeah, this is what they tell me. They're just shocked at the lack of sheep that's there now. It's all just crop, crop, crop. Oh, yes. One of these other things. This wind's blowing a little bit. I might have to put my finger over the microphone in a second, but we are going good. Quite good, actually. I didn't even bother looking at it, because I would have had to walk in a stinging nettle or whatever. I don't know. Just ignored it altogether, to be honest. But we are going to have a ripper plum crop coming off of all this. It's really quite intriguing. The mint continues to grow. There's quite a bit of it, almost a fifth of it is actually going through the chicken wire. That is 7 inches or so from where the potting mix level is. This is going to be good. We're going to... See, the thing is, we always have a lot of flowers and you always have a hell of a lot of them. Just get to a small stage, like maybe about that size, and then there's no rain, and then there's hot weather, and what the tree will do is it'll shed a whole stack of this stuff. A whole stack of these little plums will just fall off because it realises that it doesn't have the capacity to hold them because it's dry. Except this year it isn't dry. It's quite wet. And as you can see, there's dew all over me boots all the damn time. Mind you, it was about 11:30 and the dew's still all over the grass. And because of this moisture, you know, if it was a normal year and it was drier, a lot of these wouldn't have even got to that size. They would have fell off when they were, you know, not much bigger than 1/8 of an inch. But because it's moist enough and there's been rain that's getting right down into the roots, it's holding them, and I think it will hold them through to maturity, and we'll have a pretty substantial plum crop. It's unbelievable how it's all deep like this. Anyway, there's no sheep in here, and Father said, "Oh, I want to get down around your place," and I said, "No, don't worry about it." I said, let them eat all the other stuff. Let this build up to full height. Because what it is, once something gets bitten off, there's a certain amount of time, or it's like a couple of weeks, it'll just stay stable, and then it'll start growing, because every time it gets bitten off, it sort of goes in this little shock period before it starts to regrow. So if nothing bites it off, it just consistently keeps growing. So I said, leave them in, well, your place, and pretty much from the almond trees, the front half of my place, and let all this bottom half just keep growing. And you go, oh, well, they want to choose your place for fire risk. And I said, hey, it's all green. There's no fire risk. And if there is, I'll get in here with my little line trimmer or his big-ass brush cutter and clear it out, you know. I've got a lawnmower there. Don't worry about it. Just let it grow. This stuff they eat. Not so much stinging nettle, but this stuff they definitely do. These are really rubbing along. This is for you, Rosie. They're actually getting. Last time they were about thumb size, and now they're sort of really getting rolling. There's not a great deal on them. This sometimes will do 2 crops a year, though. It's sort of strange. You get like a half-assed crop and then a good crop. It might be a half-assed crop, I think. Yeah, the little water connection thingy fell off, but it doesn't really matter. I can hook that on if things start to dry up a bit. This damn Madeira vine. Oh, this is going to go this year. We got a few things from work. I might explain that in a separate video involving dates and times and busyness, and there's a lot of people actually bailing out of work to go and get other jobs. One guy's pretty much doing the same thing in a cold store freezer, $31 an hour. Look at all this. This is all new growth. You can tell because most box thorns stiff, but then I can bend that without a problem. So it's not new growth. It's new growth, not old growth, because old growth would not bend. This is one I don't often show. Geez, it's going a bit strange. It's a double banger there. Another double banger there. Yeah, yeah. I've never seen this outer one actually go quite this flaming crazy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know how the garbage bag got down there. Holy smoke! Holy smoke! There's the trouble with this one though. The bloody birds usually get it all. And the first year that had a decent crop, the blasted kangaroo got it all. And his shit was all up the driveway with all the plum seeds in it. That's how I knew for sure. Little turd, I saw him just standing out there. Because my bedroom window's around there, and then I knew these were all ready to go, and I come back in 2 days' time, they were all gone. A whole bloody lot of them. Holy smoke, this is epic. Look at this crap. This is unbelievable. This is some of the most colossal crop. I mean, these are never terribly good, because they're only young plants, but honestly, this is some of the most colossal crop I've ever seen on this stuff. Now these are the ones there that are going yellow. They'll drop those little miniature ones off, most likely. Flaming hell. These are different sort of variety. They'll go purple and they're white inside, as opposed to red and yellow inside. But they're starting to get a bit of that colour already. And they do get the colour very early, these ones. Yeah, as you can see. This is pretty phenomenal. All I need now is a frame and a big bird net, but I can't really have the bird net because I'll end up throwing it over into the box store and it'll get destroyed. So this year might be like most years where the birds steal the whole bloody lot of them and I get nothing. And then there's rest is in the cherry plums around the corner there. These are, I think they get to about that big, 2 inches long or something. As I said, these have only been fruiting for about 3 years. So. And as you can see, you know, they're like the plants, like the biggest one's 6 foot, you know. This is pretty colossal though. I've never quite seen it do this. And this is, you know, signs that it's a good season and we've had a lot of rain still, because although it's young, you know, this is like it's, what, it'll be the 4th crop or something like that. Something like the 4th lot of plums on it. And, yeah, I'll tell you what, last year wasn't flaming anywhere near this good on it. But needless to say, unless I get a box thorn out of the way, frame over the top, bird netting, blah blah, probably going to lose most of these. And honestly, well, there's no shortage of plums. I would actually like to keep these plums, and I don't give a crap about the other ones because I'm sick of eating the other ones. But in a way, if I lose these, it doesn't matter because I've always got the other ones. So it's one of these things, like there's so many that you're not going to eat them all. And if you do, you'll make yourself sick. And usually I eat that many that I just get bored of the taste, sick of eating them, because it's just, how many can you eat in one day, you know? This weed spray worked alright on all this. This continues to fire. Oh yes, bingo, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we're getting to this point where it's going to throw some flowers out, and this should be a pretty good year for this too, because it's had a decent bloody prune. And all of this is all new growth. Most of the bush is new growth. Here's the jasmine plant down there. It's sort of, I think it needs a bit of lattice to climb up or something. Anyway, this will all change. I don't know where we're going to tow this out to, but I might try and clear all this as well. Sick of, like, I used to be able to walk around this corner without a problem, and now it's just last year or so it's bloody impossible. So, or you'll have to duck down one way or the other. You'll get stabbed anyway. This crap all blooming new growth in it. Anyway, be good if I could set up something over this. I'm not saying I could, I'm not saying that it would necessarily save them, but one day I want to get a full crop from this without everything else stealing it off me before I get to it.